Hello, hello. Today we are going to be covering the One Thief versus Metabusters matchup. This is Alec. Today I'm joined by Sandy. Um,
Hello,
so
hello.
this matchup, both these teams have a lot at stake actually. One Thief, notably like having a win, a series win, and Metabusters remaining to stay stable with their 2-2 record, as they are looking for their third one, with One Thief looking for their second win. Is there anything else? Is there anything that you can like really think of, like just like related to the standings or scheduling, Sandy?
Yeah, I'd like to point out both of these teams fall within the, I guess, bottom five of teams, the teams that have played four or more games but only have two or less wins. And I think we're looking at all of those teams kind of fighting out for their spots in playoffs. I don't want to say that the top four teams necessarily have a spot secured, but I think it's more likely that the teams currently at the top are feeling comfy with their spot in getting into the playoffs. Maybe they're still fighting for an upper bracket slot as opposed to a lower bracket slot. However, a lot of the teams, such as Metabusters and One Thief, are possibly going to be eliminated before playoffs, depending on the outcome of this game. If One Thief wins, there'll be two wins, same as Metabusters, and they'll have the head to head. And if Metabusters wins, they'll be in three wins and they'll be in a great position to win maybe one more series and have a spot for playoffs secured. Very high stake game.
Yeah, very high stake games, very high stake series. It should be, or series overall, series overall. It should be interesting to see what they try to, like, what strategies that they try to employ. Uh, Metabusters actually haven't been using Snow in their lineup, but they've elected that they're going to use him like this series specifically. And it looks like that we're already off to the races. Going to be a Twitch ban. It looks like targeting stops Twitch. Looks like, okay, so we have mid lane bans. Syndra coming in. Ynar ban as well.
Yeah, I'd say these are pretty expected bans. I think a lot of bans into Metabusters have focused on banning some of Soft's characters, and then the Renekton as well. I would say Korn has put out amazing performances on this Renekton, so just shutting that down. On the other hand, you have Syndra and Echo being banned against Brewer. These are the notorious two for Brewer that you don't want to let him have, or else he might just take away the game. But the last ban on Metabusters, I'm not sure what I'll expect.
Not quite sure what to expect. And okay, so it looks like they're gonna go for Darius here. And now I like think about it, actually, isn't I think Noam is actually was recently jungling for One Thief. Looks like now that like him and him Jonah have switched places, as looks like they are going to be having him in the top lane, and Jonah in the jungle this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Darius, uh, to be honest, I think it's an interesting first pick. It's a very strong laner with just specific characters, but has some pretty brutal counters. And I think just within the draft can kind of be exploited. I think Jinx is an option that if you're playing around a Jinx, you'll be kiting a lot and being able to peel Darius off. I think this, in my opinion, Darius is a little early. I think Metabusters are going to be able to adapt their draft to try and neutralize this pick early on.
Yeah, it looks like neutralized they will with a Maokai pick. I'm not sure if I really love a Maokai pick, especially the Darius. I mean, I guess it is fine for Peel, but
Yeah, I think the lane itself, if this Maokai is going top, seems somewhat hard. You can dodge the Q with your W notably, and you can push them off. But if your wave gets in a bad spot, I think you're just going to get ran down by Ghost. Maokai could be going either jungle or support, though. Is a bit of a flex.
yeah, it is a bit of a flex. And
On the other side, Mel and Leona getting picked up for One Thief. Provide some long range CC and damage to try and burst on the Jinx, and the Braum pick comes out to counter. I think this will do a great job protecting the Jinx. It's a classic kind of 4 protect 1 style of comp that you often see with Jinx. just tons of peel and putting all the eggs in the 80 carry basket.
Yeah, all the eggs are in the basket, and ooh, a Jin ban. So they actually okay. So it looks like that. I'm not sure. I don't. I guess very much just play Jin because like it looks like they might just be banning champions that he's just comfortable on, and Katzen taken out of the pool as well. As both these bans feel a bit weird, I guess, especially in these
Yeah,
like
I'm not.
drafts.
I'm trying to think of them a little more before I comment on them. Aurelion Sol's going to be banned out next. I'm guessing they're anticipating that this is Mel ADC if they're banning Aurelion Sol.
Everything here is a bit more confusing. I'm really curious to see actually what they pick on for now because it feels like the champ like the I don't know. I feel like the wrong champions were targeted in the second like ban phase. I don't
I'd love
really
to see a top
yeah
pick here if the Maokai is being flex jungle, and it looks like that's what's happening.
yeah. So they're just gonna go ahead. They're gonna take the set. Um, since Silas is gone, okay. So they take okay because Silas is gone. They're gonna take the Malphite.
Classic draft strategy in Scrim Zone: ban Silas, pick Malphite.
Silas pick Malphite. Um,
Great way to get on top of this Jinx. I do think with the Braum, it's kind of hard for some of the damage to follow. The ult is able to slow down the melee characters, the shield blocks a lot of the range damage. Set's able to ult people fully away from the Jinx. I think this team is very bulky, and it's actually very hard for the Jinx to get through it right now, but if the Jinx gets a lead, I find it very hard to imagine One Thief being able to kill the Jinx.
yeah, I don't see a world where they really do get on the Jinx easily. Okay, they're gonna elect to pick Ash here. Believe I know. Yeah. Okay. This feels of like a very. I don't know. I'm not too high on the draft strategy coming out from like One Thief initially. It feels like they have, in a way, kind of picked champions that don't really do that much against what Metaverse has shown so far. I mean,
Yeah. Last pick mid lane,
yeah,
going for a Victor.
Victor.
I
Yeah,
guess is fine. You'd like to have a secondary carry, I think, with Jinx, something else that has long range. You already have so much peel through the set Braum and Maokai. I think Victor's a solid pickup here. Should do fine into the melon lane, and hopefully the priority that you'll have in the mid lane will lead to a lead forming in the jungle as well.
my kind of like main issue here, I guess, is that it feels like I mean, sure, like you pick the Malphite and like maybe like you have like the follow up from like like Asher like Leona like CC or like you have like the ranged follow up, but it doesn't feel you know what it feels like you don't have that like that damage. Like it feels like you don't really have any like sort of like early skirmishing power at all. Like it feels that if One Thief like takes any fight early, like they'll just get like completely annihilated basically.
I think there is Mel, notably the recent changes to Mel decrease the, I guess, defense of the character, making the W no longer making you invincible, and making the Q easier to dodge. But they did increase the damage on the character a bit. I think with guaranteed CC coming in from either the Leona or the Malphite, a lot of kills could happen in the mid lane with the right ganks or roams. On the other hand, though, I think it's going to be a little hard to punish the enemy team. We're kind of you use the tools that One Thief has in the laning phase during a team fight when there's the Braum, the Set, and the Maokai to kind of neutralize those threats. I would say I'm favoring Metabusters draft. I will say though, last week we casted Metabusters versus Project Tuesdays, and in that game they picked a kind of 4 protect 1 team with a Kog'Maw, That was a lot more 4 Protect 1 than this is. They didn't have the same secondary carry, in my opinion, that the Victor is able to provide to try and assist with getting that first reset. But that game was a bit of a disaster for Metabusters. They ended up falling very far behind in the lane where they needed to get ahead. So maybe One Thief is able to mimic the results that Project Tuesdays was into Metabusters in that game 1.
Yeah, maybe they were able to mimic those results. I'm trying to like, I don't know. I'm just like when I like normally think about drafts, I think of like kind of like how like the team fights play out. Then I like think about the skirmishes. Then I think about like kind of like the lanes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I mean, I think the top lane like in isolation is like pretty fine for One Thief. I think mid lane is. I think after the changes, I actually think that like it's definitely. I think it's definitely like I've been more like leaning towards like Victor.
I would agree.
Um, uh, I guess actually before I actually felt like Mel actually was like a really good matchup into like Victor, but like now it's like not quite the case.
I think before it was 55-45, maybe 60-40 Mel favored. Um, it was very even in my opinion, but now I think it's more Victor favored than it ever has been Mel favored in my opinion. Victor really loves taking celerity in the movement speed shard, and I just feel like it's so easy to dodge the Mel Q now. You'll be able to poke the Mel out without risking taking damage back nearly as much as you used to have to receive on the other end of the trade. So I think the lane is more Victor favored, but once again, I think there's more threat onto the Victor from the side of One Thief's Leon and Malphite than there is against the Mel with Braum and Maokai. So I think getting the support and the jungler into the mid lane to give Mel a lead, I think Darius, I would say, is favored into set. And I'm not really sure about this bot lane. You play more ADC and support than I do. Who are you thinking has the lead for the laning phase in the bot lane?
I would say that like because it's just like I think Ash Leona do. Because I feel like Leona is like actually Leona is one of the rare melee champs that Braum doesn't punish as nearly as well, just because of like how Leona effectively functions. She functions as like um whenever like like your Braum like passives like about to like he's about to like just take Braum passive on you. You can always just press W before it, and your W resistances are gonna remain through like through the duration of the stun. So it's like it is really hard to like find like those
Hard to
like
capitalize on the stun.
yeah it is really hard to like capitalize on like that early like damage that you do get out and like free damage because it's a CC ability. Um, and not only that, but Ash also like just performs very well early in a lot of lanes, just because of how the champion just because of how that champion also kind of functions. I mean, Leon Ash I think just perform generally really well against a lot of bot lanes. Or Ash paired with like kind of like anyone that's like able to provide like some sort of like a early like free access like CC. Jinx on the other
Mm-hmm.
hand takes a little time to get strong. It requires a lot of mana to use all your stuff. I definitely think that the Ashley Leona bot lane's favored, but I don't think it's quite as simple because there are like times where I think in like the scrims and server especially people don't really understand like how the 2v2 functions correctly, and so like that's where like you get like a lot of like misplays and mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Sounds though like both of us think One Thief maybe has an edge in the early game. In the mid-late game team fights, we think Metabusters has the edge with the amount of peel they have for their Jinx. I think this game will be very favored for Metabusters if they're able to escape lanes with everyone being 0-0-0 and even CS. I think One Thief, on the other hand, feels a little pressured to generate a lead and snowball it into ending the game before the Jinx becomes too much of an issue for them. Could see some early Dragon stacking coming out on the side of One Thief, and hopefully a lot of roaming. Ash is able to provide a lot of information with her Hawk Shot for her Leona and Malphite to capitalize on, to make moves that are very effective. I'd love to see One Thief use some coordination to make a lot of stuff happen in the early game, and kind of break this game apart.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention real quickly is I feel like Malphite is not that good of a champion right now. And what I mean by that is that they like kind of like nerfed him so much in the jungle that it's kind of got or like in just the champion overall that it's gone to a point where like once you use your ultimate, you're like kind of like down there with like the worst like just League of Legends champions like without ulti. Like and
Yeah,
like
very
even the
ult-centered character for
yeah,
sure.
it's always been an ult center character, but like I think it's even more so like now because like they reduced like his W damage. Um and I forget some of the other nerfs, but like it's one of those things where it's actually well I stand corrected because actually it's a Malphite top, and it looks like that they have completely just changed everything that we would have like thought about this game, because it's a Malphite top. Yeah, Noam's going on the Ashe, and it looks like that Severus is in the jungle on the Darius. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting. Is this top lane? I would have thought that Darius would have been favored into the set. Maybe the set W provided too much of a shield. It was a counter to the Darius ult. I don't play either of those characters, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
what they were thinking for that matchup. But I honestly was expecting the Darius to go top here. I think that makes it a lot harder for One Thief to generate that lead I was talking about that I think they need to make happen in order to win this game. Looks like a pause is coming out. I couldn't see what it said in chat
Early
in
pause
time.
is coming out. I think that Noam's Discord is having a hard time, so we should be back shortly. Yeah, I was not expecting I wasn't expecting a Darius jungle. I will say that. I'm not sure quite how I feel about that. I mean, I kind of like. I mean, like I don't like know like the top lane matchup like as like nearly as well as other people do, but I also like have like kind of the shared opinion that Darius into set is pretty good for Darius. I think that because set generally will take extended trades because it's set, and like that like taking an extended trade synergizes well with your passive and your W. But Darius, like taking extended trade against Darius is kind of like asking for it because of like the hemorrhage passive, which granting a bleed as well as like increased like AD against like for Darius. So like any like champions that trade like really early on, and Darius generally will just lose because of that.
Yeah, in my mind, the matchup seemed even at worst for the Darius. And while I don't think the Malphite is at threat in this matchup, I also don't think there's much the Malphite can do. This does make the Darius first pick make more sense to me, though, seeing as it was a flex between the jungle and the top line, instead of just a pure blind.
Let's see how it works. I mean, nice trade already from Korn into Jonah. So we'll see how Jonah will be able to weather this. Weather the storm as Malphite against the set, and Snow getting a really, really nice trade into Brewer.
Now, Victor's early levels are extremely strong. Use the low cooldown spell that does a large amount of damage, procs your runes effectively, gives you a shield in case the enemy tries to trade back. But he does end up taking a tower shot. That's going to even this lane out a little bit.
A tower shot plus the enhanced Mel auto. Very annoying to play against, as Mel can just like point and click you with a lot of autos after using abilities.
Bot lane was slow building a wave. They're going to be looking to crash it under a tower. Not sure how much money they have. They might be able to base and get their call. I'm not sure if... I don't think you're able to buy that here, but they won't opt for it either way.
Looks like both junglers passing from his bot. Darius having a notable clear because of his passive, so he's making his way towards bot lane. We might have a fight over the scuttle here. I'm sure of it though.
Victor has the prio in the mid lane. Jinx and Braum have the prio in the bot lane. I think it'll be hard for Darius to contest the scuttle.
Yeah, looks like Severus might not even.
It does look like
a haymaker with an ignite thrown down onto Jonah. That should force him away and possibly forces TP as well. Looks like that Severus has found Fujer in the jungle, but he's not going to be able to do anything there as Fujer picking up the crab, and Severus wisely going to go ahead and take the top scuttle crab. Or possibly not the top scuttle crab, so it looks like he's looking for Fujer's raptors, as it looks like that fight might break out, but it doesn't appear that that will be the case, as Fujer wisely smites away the raptors before Severus can do anything at all.
yeah. Already having a lead on the Maokai jungle. That's what I was saying. The early priority that Victor's able to get made it really hard to contest the scuttle, despite the fact that Darius in a 1v1 should obliterate a Maokai.
And actually, it looks like that they're just going to go in here and maybe they can do something. No. However, not a terrible trade. Guardian gets procced. Nom gets a bit of damage back.
Yeah, just a short trade here. As it looks like this game so far has taken this slow approach that I was saying I think favors Metabuster's draft.
Going in, landing the stun on Stop, and Stop trying to cut away with the bomb shield, keeping him alive as Nom continues to fire more and more arrows, and it looks like that he might be able to follow up. No, he doesn't. Chooses not to elect a flash over to follow Stav, but Stav taking the volley actually and going to be taken down. First blood going over to Stav. However, Future has found Bean in the bot side of the jungle, but Severus has arrived, and maybe he can get some damage off here. Flashes forward, but no, he doesn't get the kill on the Bean with a potion ticking, and he pulls back. And he pulls back the Braum, and he looks like he's going to fall shortly as well, and there you have it.
That's a complete disaster for Metabusters. They
and a
had
flash
the
unstoppable over the ultimate and the W, and Korn barely living on a blinking HP bar, and Jonah making a critical error as he actually falls down in that 1v1.
Korn taking back a bit of a gold deficit.
Storm just force Greer out here in the mid lane.
Wow, I was in the process of saying it's a disaster for Metabusters. Korn does a great job winning this lane, to be honest, more than I think he would have been winning it against a Darius.
Yeah.
But that kind of lead is going to be pivotal for Metabusters to be able to stall out the game. We saw last week against Project Tuesdays, Korn was able to stall the game out in order for his Kale to scale up. Might be angling to do the exact same thing for his Jinx.
I mean, yeah, it's a complete disaster in the bot lane, but equally a disaster on the top side. I mean, Jonah just dying there. Like, even like with the unstoppable force catching like the set underneath his turret, but I'm not even sure if that's really worth. At the end of it, like, he got stunned up, and Korn got a shield and delivered a haymaker to his face, which inevitably took him down.
And despite bot lane being behind a kill and an assist on the ADCs, I think the Jinx being up 10 CS before that play happened is kind of the saving grace. The wave state wasn't that bad during that exchange.
Like Korn actually finding a bit more than he can choose, throwing out the showstopper, but the W not caught up in time, and Jonah just takes him down in the 1v1, not respecting the grass proc damage, and it looks like that Jonah getting that kill, but he has been found out by Future. Nature's Grass comes through, twisted advance, and it looks like that Jonah, however, the sapling doesn't trigger, so actually maybe he just gets out. The Q should be able to find him, and yes it does, but Gruer has arrived, and it looks like that he is looking for a kill himself, but maybe Future actually just flashes away, and Gruer decides not to try to flash forward because he has no more spells to do it. You went to the top lane, and Future was just able to simply slyly get away.
And the Nimbus Cloak providing a burst of movement speed, making Mel have no chance of catching up. roaming as a mid laner can be quite grueling, as you've now walked top, gotten nothing. On the other side, your opponent has gotten a full wave up on you and a plate. Mid lane was dead even before that roam, but now Snow has gotten a bit of a lead for himself.
Indeed, and Corn is so terribly, or what we believe is so terribly strong in this 1v1. Not himself also making a like, critical error to try to fight Jonah. That's probably he really couldn't. And an Ash Arrow just sailing by. As Noam actually getting caught by the end of that bomb queue, and it looks like the Glacial Fissure will catch him as well. The Jinx traps, a rocket on top, Noam just gets taken down by Staub. And it looks like that maybe they have found Starbears in the jungle, but it looks like that they're actually looking for the Leona instead, and it looks like they couldn't decide on a target, so actually both of them will get away as a result of that.
I think that's still a fine result for Metabusters. Picking up a kill, great punish on the Leona's roam timer.
Tomahawk Showstop's going to get burned out here on the top side, and Jonah does have the Unstoppable Force if he elects to use it. The Haymaker has already been thrown out, and yeah, there's the Unstoppable Force, and there's the solo kill. Corn just continues to fight this Malphite with the Thornmail, and it looks like it's quite punishing for him, especially due to the fact that he really can't fight him. Malphite just kills him.
Yeah, this is a very action-packed game. Something happens bot, I try to comment on it. Something happens top while I'm doing that. I would say, I mean, just very surprising how back and forth things are. There is a lead top that instantly gets lost on the side of Metabusters, and then on the side of One Thief there was a lead bot that has now completely fizzled away as well. Ashe opting for the greedy cull. Meanwhile, Jinx went for the BF sword on the first base, opting for more immediate power to try and catch back up, which has worked out well.
It looks like catch up the shadow.
Two cleanses on the side of Metabusters, putting a lot of respect on the Leona and Ashe ultimate abilities, which can both in a late game fight just end the game outright if they land on the right targets.
I mean, you have very dangerous abilities to look out for. I mean, the Ashe Arrow lands or like the Solar Flare as well. Both like the arrow, Ashe Arrow and the Solar Flare. Very dangerous abilities. Look out for them. And it looks like that Corn's going to elect to fight the Malphite as third time it might be the charm. As he just brings his Haymaker. In a large trade. As it looks like that Spheres is looking for something, and I'm not quite sure if it's spotted out, and yes, I believe he was, especially when he walks the wave like that. Jonah trying to do everything he can to get more plates. However, it looks like the next thing is burned. Showstopper is going to get burned as well. Haymaker's going to get thrown, but the Unstoppable Force to move behind the Haymaker. You actually might have it in this one. Corn flashes away, but the Malphite Q follows him, and there's another solo kill for Jonah. Corn continuing not to take the fights that you want to see, and him now falling behind very handedly in this matchup.
That one was so close. Gets the pullback into the tower range to force Malphite to tank 2 extra tower shots, but tries to extend the fight with the ult into the W. It's getting dodged, very costly for Corn.
It looks like that Snow might have been found actually in the mid lane.
Ashe Arrow.
Actually, just going to flash away. The Ashe Arrow actually lands, so Fuji actually can't really help his mid laner. Looks like that Snow has just been found out. Nitro's grasp not going to do anything at all. In fact, it's actually going to root Fuji instead, but a big Super Rated Death Rocket takes Cerberus down from across the map. Really nice ultimates from both AD carries as the traps are thrown out to stop the engagement in the bot side, and it looks like that both sides will take kills on either side.
Yeah, I think given the start of that fight, that turned out great for Metabusters. Victor and Jinx ult end up doing all the damage against a Darius that was rooted by the Maokai ult. 3 ults used. gets a kill from across the map for Metabusters. Jinx now has a sizable lead over the Ashe. Stav is showing that he can do the... He can be the one in the 4 protects 1 comp. Proving that last week's Kog'Maw performance might have been a fluke.
Yeah, it might have been a fluke indeed. So like Corn, he needs to take these fights that I'm not sure if he's allowed to take. And I mean, you see each of these trades, like he'll begin like autoing Jonah, and Jonah just has a passive shield and just hits him back a lot harder than he can hit him. And with more armor, looks like that the Malphite will start to do more and more damage. So there is now a 3 level difference on top of it.
Is this Titanic Rush? I don't believe it is. I think this is Tiamat into Cleaver or something. I'm really unsure of what this set build does.
Looks like that first side that he's going to use after Snow, and Snow just going to get taken down with the Noxian Guillotine and Gruer's damage to support that. Snow, I mean, great punish out from Bean. They knew Snow didn't have flash. Snow being a very bit greedy with his positioning, trying to get as much of the wave as he could, and getting punished for it dearly.
Yep, flashless Victor's easy pickings. Nothing in the kit to protect yourself. Save for your W, which is probably the least reliable CC in the entire game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you really want to walk up here, especially with the Maokai. However, it looks like they actually do have support now, as Bean slowly walking forward, and it looks like he has spot the W. He is trying to go through, but the Solar Flare doesn't quite land on the stop, and the Glacial Fissure is actually really nice interrupt. However, it gets reflected right back, and there down goes the Braum, with Stav actually trying to look for a reset. It looks like he should be able to get it. The Malphite has arrived, the Unstoppable Force, a huge Maokai Q, but he has no friends anymore, and he's actually just going to fall down as well. A double kill for Jonah. But it looks like actually Noam will just...
The Leandry Sapling takes out the Ashe at the end there.
Takes out the Ashe there.
5 players from One Thief there in that fight. That was, I mean, for 3v5, that was incredibly close. So many targets got low HP at the end, and I think the end result was 2 for 3. I think One Thief picked up 1 more kill than Metabusters did.
And cover critically.
It's a big commit.
After that fight, though, no, picking up the mid-tier 1 turret.
Yeah, could you show the gold difference now? I'm curious. Mid lane is dead even, despite the huge difference in KP. That's just from that turret.
Yeah, looks like that Snow found out again in the mid lane. Way too far up, way too aggressive, and our kill's going to be going over to Bean. Getting punished a bit for this very, actually, just to be honest, very greedy position for Snow. I'm not quite sure why he's walking up, but out vision down. I mean, this is like what you talked about, you know, getting both the Darius and the Leona involved in mid lane plays.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be
the Malphite.
Yeah, but either way, jungle and support involvement.
Astronaut actually gets thrown out, and it looks like that Bean might be looking for something, and I always fight to find it, as it looks like that rockets are being fired out from Stav, maybe trying to pick a reset, but the Malphite here is just simply an immovable mountain, quite as using the lore. And it looks like Noam actually might be picked off on the side. Superman their rocket with the zap slow should be able to take down Noam. It does. Stav gets another kill. The dragon, however, does go over to the side of One Thief, as more and more we begin to march towards certain outcomes. The rope teams.
Yeah. Stav had the unfortunate death early on with the walking back into the fight, getting caught by Ashe's volley. But outside of that, I think it's been a very tightly played game from the Jinx, recognizing that you cannot be exploited this game or you will lose. Also doing a great job, as well as the rest of the team, on punishing this Ashe when the Ashe is separated from the rest of the team.
I mean, yeah, it is a great punish. However, notably, the bounties are starting to come in, and But even if the bounties are now, it's not that huge of a lead as you would think it would be. I mean, they're only up
Yeah,
like,
very close game. One dragon to one dragon. One thief does have all 3 of the grubs, but the lead is only 1k in their favor. And I do put a little more faith in the team fighting ability of MetaBuster's draft.
something else
Although
I would
this
look to.
Mel being this strong is very frightening. The range that Mel has can be quite hard to punish. Kind of the best initiation tool on the side of MetaBusters is the Malkyle, which is not effective against Mel.
Like that. They're just going for the Malkyle right on Future. He's going to stand up with the Ash Arrow as well. Full on top, because why not? Jonah, unstoppable in this game so far. Stav, however, getting a good amount of damage. Winter's Bite actually goes wide against him, so it looks like that Jacob had to melee him to help get the stun off. It looks like they do have to get the stun off, because the Glacial Fish is going to be burned off to no one with the Winter's Bite to follow up. It looks like that should force off the side of one thief for any continued incursions into the red side jungle of MetaBusters, and there you have it. As interestingly, have both mid laners investing into loot-ins this game. Curious to hear your thoughts on that.
I don't play Mel myself, so I can't comment on that, but I personally prefer going Blackfire Torch on Victor. I think in fights, being able to just apply a little bit of burn on the enemy team with your lasers and your ult, giving you a big booster AP, is quite impactful, and I just love haste on Victor. The more you can have your Q movement speed up, the nicer this character feels, in my opinion. But I think that last fight kind of demonstrated how much the MetaBusters need to wait until Jinx gets her 3rd item. But it looks like Stav is opting for a slingshot item. I was expecting it to be Lord Dominic's here, because Jinx was caught on the Malphite for 10 seconds or something and only got half of his HP.
Yeah, and that Jonah is going to be investing into that Frozen Heart, which I actually really do like as a purchase.
Yeah,
I think it's really
great purchase here. If you're playing the Malphite and your goal is to get on top of the Jinx, what better thing than to reduce their attack speed? Not only a great defensive layer for yourself, also helps in case Jinx is prioritizing somebody else trying to ignore you. Makes them a little bulkier as well. Jinx will be doing 20% less damage to them. Other items of note, I think the Liandry Bloodletter's Curse build from the Maokai is going to be something to look at here. Haven't seen many Maokai jungles since this item has been introduced, but it is kind of a great purchase. The Maokai jungle build historically was Liandry into tank, and this item is a nice segue that gives you a little more damage and also amplifies the damage of any other magic dealers on your team. Did Mel just reflect a sapling?
I think she just reflected the sapling. That looks pretty actually awesome. I like how the comet flew across the map towards the Maokai.
That seems unintended. I feel like that's not something Mel should be able to reflect. I'm not sure if I saw that right. Maybe it was just the comet that Mel reflected from Maokai.
Yeah, as it looks like that the showstop's actually going to get burned out. Being going into the backside. I'm not sure he just wanted. He's actually just giving a reset over to Stav, and it looks like that the Victor damage is coming through, and Stav is kiting it out, and it looks like that Spirit actually falls down as well. But Jonah actually giving another shutdown over to the Victor. It looks like that Gnome actually just fell to Korn while that was all happening, and there you have it. It's just a 4-0 for the side of MetaBusters, and it looks like that they just might be poised to just win the game off of that.
Yeah, great fight from MetaBusters. Stav had an excellent flash, dodging the Malphite ult. I do think, though, I would have expected this fight to be a little bit closer, given the state of the game. I think there was some poor execution on the side of one thief, unfortunately. The fight was very disjointed. I think a lot of that is due to MetaBusters' draft having a lot of disruption. The set ult pulling people back. Did a great job effectively splitting the fight, but the Leona ended up being a little too far for the rest of the team to follow. ends up giving that first reset to Jinx, letting the fight shift towards Metabuster's favor.
Yeah, and
Not meaning to single out Bean on the Leona. It is Bean on Leona, correct?
it is Bean on the Leona and Jacob on the Braum.
Okay. Yeah, different.
So that corner action has been found out here. Solo Flare comes down, Brewer with the root as well to follow. Jonah has arrived. Plenty of overwhelm stacks to simply take him down with an auto, and it looks like, yep, there you have it. As it looks like that Jacob has gone over the wall, but dodging away from the arrow.
Yeah, going back and getting a pick before the fight.
So that this is just going to be a bear
Exactly what you need to do. They actually plan on starting this.
More notably is not here, and Patrick,
Maybe a little bit risky.
Snow, very far away from the fight, or very far away from the Baron. It looks like that this might just be their Baron. I mean, Fuchsia is in the area with Flash. The Q Smite is available for the Maokai. If he does choose to opt into it,
I doubt Metabuster gives this up.
It
I
looks
think we'll
like
look for
that.
the fight
Yeah, it
after
looks like
at
the
very
fight
least.
is. Fuchsia might break down, and it looks like that Q Smite tries to go for it, but no, Severus' Smite is good and true. And it looks like that Staub is actually getting engaged on. The Arcane Storm comes out. It looks like that so much resets are happening from the Mel and Darius damage both coming through. It looks like that maybe Patrick can do something, or Snow can do something, but it looks like that he's not able to. And I mean, there you have it. I mean, there you get 3 kills, you get the Baron, and it's your game to play now for the side of One Thief.
Yeah, that fight blew up very fast. Recognizing that there was no flash available on the Jinx, getting a good jump, nobody able to protect her as Mel's damage pours in. And then Darius, so many resets that fight. Just cutting through all the bulk on the side of Metabusters. This full movement speed build is very interesting. It's done a great job. Early on, we saw the Darius just sprinted the Flash's Victor and Lightning phase. And it seems it's doing a great job. Another movement speed item. This build is putting a smile on my face.
I'm a big fan of the build. I think I actually think it's pretty good here. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
there's a lot of like tools that you normally would get slowed down by, like Maokai saplings, and there's also like things like and like the Braum as well, from like his abilities. There's also a bunch of like things you have to run around, like the Victor W, Jinx traps. So it can be quite tedious to like get around all those things. But if you have a lot of move speed, it doesn't become that much of a problem.
Yeah, and also if you're able to sprint past the Maokai and the Braum in the set and get a pull on a Jinx, that might win you the game.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Of course, very hard to do that, but even if you are spending time on killing them, it allows you to, after getting a reset, sprint towards the back line faster. Also getting a nice mix of damage and defense, despite movement speed being the focus.
Looks like the Nature Grass isn't going to come out, but Ferris actually decides to pull in Fuja instead to prevent any nonsense. The Reflect comes out to send one of the parts of Nature Grass back. It takes 2 commands onto B specifically, and it looks like that the Venus spike the target, but this interrupts the arrow lands onto Snow, and the Arcane as it is unleashed onto the Rift, as it looks like that Noah might be falling down quickly, as the Super Mega Death Rocket looks like it's going to follow up, but not going to be able to do anything as the damage doesn't come through. And as the fight is breaking down on top side, we do continue to go back to the fight that's happening here with the chase, and the Witch Spite actually doesn't land, but it looks like that Gruer hits a crucial spell combination onto Snow, and he actually falls down, and the solo kill on the top side for Korn onto Jonah, as things not as clear as they appear. And
I'd love to go back and watch the top fight, but there's 5 seconds to Dragon here. I think it's a little hard to cut away from 4th Drake.
Yeah, it looks like they actually might just send it onto Staub. Or it looks like they choose not to. He just gets himself out of there for safety, as they do have priority on the Drake, and I think they should be able to take it. We have the time. Let us actually go back and watch what happens in the top side, specifically the set. It looks like okay. damage are down. 2 full difference actually, so you think that the Malphite would win it. And Assault Force actually got burned. It looks like the Showstopper. Really nice job just pulling him in the tower, and yeah, I mean, there's the kill.
Yeah, looks like Set said, doesn't matter how much armor you have, I'll do most of your health through true damage. 2 W's coming out there. Blowing the Malphite up. Two Force of Nature's on the side of one Thief. I think this is a great purchase into the Maokai and the Victor. Especially the Maokai, the saplings do damage in multiple ticks. And you have the Leander's Burn, lots of periodic damage, which will quickly stack up the Force of Nature, giving a huge increase in magic resist. I think typically the Canic Rookern is the item of choice for magic resist, but Force of Nature also giving the movement speed makes it extra high value this game. For that extra bit of maneuverability. Make the difference in the fights. This will be a game of inches.
Surely a game of inches, and I mean, it's also reflected in the gold difference between both teams. He has been fluctuating between 100 to 300, like from both sides actually. And so there's 300 gold lead for one Thief a few brief moments ago, but now has swung 300 gold for the side of Metabusters.
Yeah, very even game here. 2 dragons each. Negligible gold difference.
I'm not confusing this. They might look. I'm not sure if they actually know that both Snow and Pooch are in the bush. And it looks like, yeah, Bean's just going to be the first target, and they might try just to reset on it. Yes, they do actually doing so. Reverse actually going to bite off a bit more than he could shoot, and him getting taken down as well. As
it seems they had no clue how many people were there.
Yeah.
Only 2 members of one Thief were present for that fight. And Stav had an awkward moment where, in an attempt to dodge some of the spells, flashed into Darius, but not enough damage threat is available because the rest of the team is able to kill the Darius off of the Jinx anyways.
And looks like Grand Nash has spawned right when the jungler is dead, so it should just be a easy free start. And I'm not sure if this is even contestable for the side of one Thief. I don't think they are going to be able to. I think that, yeah, this is going to take way too long to get here. They're trying to like figure out what exactly is going on. But, yeah, Dragon is slain for the side of Metabusters, and now it looks like that one Thief once again is on the back foot in this game.
No jungler makes it too hard to contest an objective like that. You can't even look for a steal. I think Guru maybe was thinking about doing something cheeky, walking up a little bit there, getting some vision on it, but I think it's too much of a risk. I think the game is hard when they have Baron, but it's harder if you die and give up the Baron. You'll have to look for a well-played fight here to neutralize this Nasher push.
Looks like that. We might just have another fight like in the top side, because why not, actually? As Horn able to get the stun and trying to do damage to Malphite. He is able to get a bit off with the Haymaker, but he has burned his ability, as it looks like Jonah might just send it onto him now, but both sides, I think, unsure of where some members of their teams are. But it looks like that Snow might be caught out here. He flashes away from the Mel Root, able to get away. Zerk is running, and Enchanted Pistol actually lands. He immediately cleanses it.
Unfortunate for Metabusters having to blow both the Victor's summoner spells there. You'd like to have those for the fight that's sure to happen soon. They're walking in, taking control of the jungle. Slow playing the Baron. I'd like to see them start hitting some towers here. Baron.
So actually, looks like the blast coming over, and actually a great play from Jonah as he is able to actually get onto Stav, and he's trying to do damage. The Showstopper to keep him away, and it looks like the same move over here. Raffle comes out to do a bit of damage to everyone involved, as it looks like that damage is coming down. But Guru able to pick up a kill with his own ultimate onto Korn. The rocket tower flying across the map as Stav is dealing the damage, and it's only a 2 for 2. As
I cannot believe that. 2 for 2 after that blast cone initiation. I thought for sure the game was going to be over one way or another. I was anticipating a bloodbath, but barely unable to kill the Jinx. The cleanse on the Leona ult ends up saving Stav. Buying enough time
here from Jonah, as he doesn't have the ultimate quite available yet, but the Braum and Jinx are in the area. I'm not sure if they can really fight this, as Sparus is on the way, and Victor having the Arcane Storm coming up soon. But no, it looks like, yeah, that's just going to be the sole point for the side of One Thief.
Yeah, I agree on giving this. I think it's too hard to contest. One more Kim Dragon isn't anything that you're too worried about, I don't think, especially because Jinx is now able to itemize a little more defensively. We see a GA getting built. Hopefully Victor will be able to buy a defensive item here to fill the last slot in his inventory. And that'll make it even harder to kill these two core members on the team of Metabusters.
I'm not quite sure if I agree with this very first test build coming out from Snow, but I mean, he is at this
I think it's to help get the first kill for the Jinx. Trying to ensure that you get your resets going.
Jacob actually get chased down here. Stav has arrived, as Jacob is bleeding all over the river. But he should be able to keep himself safe, especially with his Jinx in the neighborhood.
I think Jinx, my take on Jinx is it warps the draft so much, and itemization and everything. When Jinx is in the game revolves around the Jinx. So I think trying to facilitate kind of the first kill to get the Jinx going is a fine choice. I think sacrificing some power in the side lane and ability to do things yourself to just front load your damage and give more of a chance for your Jinx to carry is a bit of a selfless play that I don't hate seeing here. I do think the other side of that, though, is buying something to make sure that you are not the person that causes a reset for the enemy team is also important. I'd love to see a Zhonya's come out last, just to be the defensive buffer that may be needed. This also sounds crazy. I could also see a Zhonya's coming out last for the Jinx.
Attacked in this bush, but you know they're in the area now. And Channel Arrow actually just burned right on the Blue Victim and say, why not? Let's just kill him immediately. And yeah, Gru's gonna be able to pick up that kill and go on a killing spree. But Stav is actually just landing so many rocks, and he should be able to get him stunned. And with another reset, now on a rampage, and he may be able to continue to chase, but no, it doesn't look like they are gonna opt into doing that, as they do just want to secure a bit more control to prepare for this Baron in around 40 seconds.
Third Baron of the game. Yeah, this Malphite's not dying. Way too hard to make anything happen without this Jinx. When the Jinx is here, things happen.
It looks like that Corn kind of looking for something, if anything. But so much damage coming out from Stav, and actually just completely killed with a combination of the Jinx rockets plus the Victor enhanced auto, and he just falls down right there. And it looks like they might just go to the end here as the Salvo Force gets burned, but I'm not sure if that's going to really matter at the end of it, and Jonah should just fall out at the end. A really nice solo player laying on both carries actually from the side of B, and maybe Brewer is able to actually try to defend here, as yes, he does get a kill onto Korn, and it looks like it is just him at the end of it all. But actually, Stav getting put into his Resurrect notably, and Brewer able to actually take down Jacob, but not quite timing it for the respawn, as it looks like the Severe is trying to go in at the apprehend, quick Noxian Guillotine to take him down as well. Snow running for his life, maybe he can do something. No, the flash W, or flashing away but still getting nicked by the W with another Noxian Guillotine to get Severus a double kill. And One Thief holding on.
Sprinting out of base with the Home Guard, the Ghost Blade, the Dead Man's. Insane speed. I think that was a great look angle on the side of Metabusters to try and end the game. It didn't end up working out though. But Jinx ends up buying a Bloodthirster outright. That'll give a little more EHP and survivability. I think this is a good purchase. Oftentimes Jinx is getting put to half at the start of these fights from the Malphite. This will give Stav a chance to re-up on some EHP.
And it looks like that, since Maokai is nearby. I'm not going to be able to do anything about that, so they're just going to wisely attack away from the Baron. Wait for the team to keep up. Before that, they're going to push out some waves, which is always a good decision. But it looks like that focus will also just change to the dragon. Being flashing away, scared of the twisted advance, probably a wise choice. Try not to get picked before this dragon spawns, as it is their soul fight. And
TP in the mid lane.
Yeah, TP coming in from Jonah. The fight might start to break out. Blitzbite actually gets blamed on the Bean, and they're trying to just play this choke correctly. And maybe they can, or maybe they can't. I mean, the GA notably isn't up for Stav fight yet. He's gonna have a long time on that. Doesn't have any summoners available as well. And it's all about finding where this Jinx is. Wherever the Jinx is, you must go. And it looks like that. Yes, they do actually land on the backside, but Korn actually able to do a really good job of just on his own. As actually Bean gets slain, and it looks like that Jonah all alone in the backline with no follow-up. But he's still doing a good amount of damage, and actually multiple kills go over. Severus, Brewer, and everyone else just falling down to the Arcane Storm. A triple kill for Snow, and it looks like that's just going to be the game.
Nearly every fight this game was entirely centered around the Jinx. This fight completely flipped that on its head. Victor ult with a set engage. Completely, I mean, I think they just 2v4'd the side of One Thief with those spells. I mean, set groups them all up. Victor's doing as much damage as possible. Really exciting fight during the game.
Yeah. I mean, for this game, if I would have given MVP, I mean, I would actually give it to Grura. I think that he, like, you know, the Mel was very exceptional this game.
Yeah,
but,
how do you want? I think it would have been his.
Yeah, it would have been his if I really could. But can't do that. I don't know. I feel like. I mean, this is actually kind of a tough one. I feel.
I would lean towards. In my opinion, I would lean towards Stav.
Yeah.
I think this is a great showing after the last week's Kog'Maw game. Doing a great job. I mean, I think there was a time when Ashe got solo killed by the Jinx, kind of in the middle of a fight, landing a I can't remember the name of the W. Pow. I don't
Zap.
know
It's
what
a
Jinx.
zap.
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 Okay, yeah, the Zap. Slowing to Ashe and picking up a kill, able to snowball the lead and notably not give it up, despite the fact that the enemy team had so many ways to get on. I mean, it was so well played from everybody on Metabusters. I think everybody recognized their role within the game and executed on it. But I mean, I think Stav also had highest KP that game, if I'm not mistaken. And was the only one who I think Maokai as well. I don't know. This is a tough one to give.
Yeah, I feel like Future also had a really good game. I think. Oh man. I would say the Jinx. However, just I feel like I don't know. It does feel very weird. I think that we would have to end up probably. I think you do give it to the Jinx though. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I do think this was well played game of ADC, playing it very safe. Accurate recognition that you are. You're the main character when you're playing Jinx. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I thought the Malphite was actually going to become such a huge issue in that game because Jonah just got such a huge lead to Korn, like, and just felt like
I actually think
stats.
Was Malphite to itemize a Malignance or spec into a little bit of damage, might have been able to burst the Jinx down in some of those earlier fights where she barely lived.
Yeah, and it looks like actually we are just going to be heading into draft, so bear with me for 1 second, and there's going to be, and so just note that these are reversed. If you are watching on the stream, I'm trying to get that sorted out at the moment. Yeah, okay. There we go.
I mean,
everything's sorted out. And
Game 2 draft, how do you think One Thief needs to adapt their strategy?
If I were to adapt the strategy for One Thief, man, I feel like that you need. I mean, it's kind of a tough call. Uh, I would say that maybe you try. I don't know. I don't feel like the draft strategy was like too bad last game. I think maybe you orient like your team comp a bit more for instead of like trying to get early priority in lanes, maybe just opt in for like just full like team fight, like just full like just try to have more scaling and more team fighting in your comp, I guess. It feels very weird. But
Game two
also
draft is underway. We
yeah.
see Aatrox getting picked first for Corn. I mean, Corn has had some incredible performances on this character. This and the Renekton, I would say, have been the two kind of highlight characters for Corn. One Thief will respond with Pantheon and Ziggs, two characters who are very flexible, able to be played in 2 or 3 roles. I expect this to be a Jinx. I'm not actually sure if I expect this to be a Jinx APC. I really can't be sure. I think Metabuster is going to have to treat both of these as being as flexible as they are. Sivir, I think, is a classic pick into mage bot lanes. Able to wave clear a bit to match theirs, as well as having some defensive capabilities against their spells.
Yeah, I think the server is a pretty
I'd
good
like
pick
to see
here.
what they pair with it here. I think for the Ahri.
So picking their solo lanes in the first phase so far on blue side.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine to do this. You're picking Aatrox, who's a respectable blind, doesn't get completely obliterated in too many matchups, and obviously Korn is very comfortable on it. And then Ahri is probably the best mid laner on the patch, and historically has always been an incredibly good blind mid lane. Nothing really too upsetting to play against. And we will see Gruer Talia. I have not played against Gruer many times, but I would say of the games I've played into Gruer, the Talia has been the most intimidating and oppressive to play against for me. Gruer, I think, is a player who has really good understanding of what's going on in the map and is able to capitalize on Talia's ability to get prio very quickly and move around the map even before the ult. But then after the ult, create these walls and just create leads anywhere. So I'd love to see One Thief get a big lead early, kind of go for an opposite approach. Last game, everyone was coming mid for One Thief. This game, I think mid's going to be moving other places. Vi Sejuani, Jarvan Rel are the second rotation bans. I do think the Jarvan, I think you would agree, is a high threat jungler to play against as a Sivir.
Yeah,
You don't have
definitely
any way of escaping
Jarvan.
the cage.
Yeah, Jarvan can be a very annoying champion, especially when you have Flash and you're a dash champion like Sivir. Could be. Looks like they are going to be opting into a Nefiri here, as I actually kind of like Nefiri, especially against champions that like to like run away because you kind of just chase them down with your R. And Ari is a champion where it's very hard to actually hit abilities onto the Nefiri, especially in the critical one being your
Yes.
charm. As even though like during your ultimate, like during Nefiri's ultimate, she is gonna be at the front of her like of all her dogs. Sometimes it's kind of weird where one of the dogs is kind of like, to be honest, I'm not sure if it's a bug or not, but sometimes one of the dogs is just like kind of slightly in front of the Nefiri for some reason sometimes. So you end up just not hitting your charm, and the ability gets completely wasted on a Nefiri dog, which immediately gets respawned. Nocturne, oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I think the Nocturne here is actually pretty good. I actually like it a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of easy ways to deal with it. Being able to block one of those like critical spells from the side of One Thief as well. With the spell shield, it's pretty nice. Uh, Ziggs is a champion that is not very good against champions that can like dive very deep. So you're gonna have that opportunity unlocked with the Paranoia from the Nocturne, and you also have Ahri follow up as well on top. So that pairs really nicely with the mid lane. As it looks like that they are gonna take Rakan here, which I guess kind of makes sense because you do want like something that Ziggs can easily follow up off of. And so you have that with the Rakan, with your Snap Engage, with your ultimate, along with your knockup as well. Makes it very easy and very difficult for the enemy team to react to you a lot of the time. And so you can actually guarantee a lot of that Ziggs spell damage wrapped up in that ultimate along with his other abilities.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little worried on the side of Meta Busters at the lack of frontline. Neither Aatrox nor Nocturne are looking to solo frontline for a team. Both of them are kind of looking to play on the edge of fights, if that makes sense. Biding their time before pulling the trigger. But having a reliable frontliner is, I think, the best way to get a good opportunity to pull the trigger. So I'm a little worried about their ability to play out the fights. On the other side, though, there's, I would say, even less frontline. I think Pantheon is able to frontline for a moment with the E. Rakan, more CC than frontline, I would say. So, I mean, this is going to be a really explosive game of League. Nothing like last game where I guess last game had some very explosive fights, but I think, at least on the side of Metabusters, had a very clear front to back approach versus many beefy characters on the side of One Thief. But I'm not sure.
I think I would argue that both these comps kind of have pretty apparent weaknesses. I think it's, as you said,
Yeah, I would
Midwesterners
agree
like don't
completely.
have like that front line, and One Thief it feels like One Thief has a lot of front loaded damage, especially like with like how like their champions kind of work. The most I can see is like the Neferi reset like being something critically that you need to play around this game. But if the Neferi doesn't get a reset, I think the fight becomes very difficult because then like that threat that you have that would normally threaten either the Nami or the Ahri kind of just disappears.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's nothing that can really help somebody if they're getting jumped by Neferi. I think there's very few tools that Metabusters has in the form of CC. I personally would have liked. I mean, I really loved their first 3 picks. I think I would have preferred if I had seen some more CC coming up from their later picks, some more frontline. Obviously, One Thief recognized this, banned out the Sejuani and the Vi, both of which I think would have been great picks in this game, but neither of which being available. Vi being a classic pairing with Ahri to, I mean, just completely execute any one person on the enemy team. Vi is known for sometimes going a little too far with the Q dash and then the ult. The enemy then has a chance to pull Vi even further back by running away. Ahri is able to catch up, land some guaranteed follow-up CC, allow Vi to get more of her damage off, while Vi guarantees that Ahri gets her damage off. Really great for bursting people down. If that gets banned away, I think the Nocturne isn't able to provide that same sort of guarantee that Vi does for the Ahri. And also, Nocturne is less able to kind of make a look early on, I think.
Yeah, the more I think about it, this is actually a kind of difficult Nocturne game to play. Like, if Ari's like not nearby or doesn't have like ultimate available, you're kind of just going in alone to a
Yeah.
lot of champions that can react very well to champions that go in alone, like Talia, like Pantheon, and if Rakan's there as well, it becomes like very difficult to do anything at all to him.
I do think the vision loss will do a great job disjointing fights, though. Pantheon ult and Recon ult are two that I'm thinking of especially that generally will separate you from your team. And then Zig's ult is one that you need to use separate from yourself most of the time. So it'll be a lot more troublesome to kind of use some spells during the Nocturnal, but I do think the recast of the Nocturnal dashing onto a target is pretty risky to use as an initiation tool. It's probably going to be used more defensively. Is there any confirmation on who's playing top lane? Because both Nefiri and Pantheon are viable in top and jungle.
So it looks like it's gonna be Jonah top. Um, they've decided that okay, Severus is going back. Okay, Severus is in the jungle, so it's the same positions as last game. And the Pantheon's gonna be top, and the Fury's gonna be in the jungle.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
I think Pantheon Aatrox is a very high skill matchup, actually. Pantheon's a character who, into many matchups, you just press the Q. You need to tether it right and use it. But Aatrox is a character who just has so much damage, you need to be very cautious about your spell use. But you do actually have a way to block the Q3, and your W can be used to gap close the Q2. So I do favor it for Pantheon, but it is quite volatile, despite the fact that I do think it's probably 60-40 or maybe even more favored for the Pantheon. If things start going bad, they go horribly wrong. So I think top lane is going to be a lane to look at this game. On the other hand, I think Ahri and Talia, both of those characters, I think are going to be looking more to farm and move elsewhere on the map. I expect a lot of skirmishing in this game, with less fighting happening in lanes besides the top lane, which I still expect to be a bloodbath, just as it was last game.
Yeah, I hope it
I
was
wish
a
I had the
bloodbath
stats
last
for it.
game.
How many solo kills do you think came out of top lane last game?
I feel like it's so many like kills just came out of the top lane last game.
Probably
It
like
just
8 or something.
yeah, I felt like that there's just a kill like all the time. Like I mean, I feel like Corn kind of, to be very blunt, I think Corn kind of is just uh, making very poor choices with his fights, especially against like the Malphite. Um, who
I mean, I would like to point out some of them were very, very close.
yeah, some of them
I
were
do agree you don't have to look for the risk that game, I don't think. But some of them were very close to ending up very well.
yeah.
There was, of course, that one where Korn, as the set, had the W going before Malphite dodged it with the ult.
I think something that's really
That one
critical is
was quite early on.
one of the fights I actually noticed what Corn actually did. He actually made a mistake. He actually pressed Q right before he pressed W. Like he didn't really get any like that much value of his Q. But
Didn't
you
get a
don't.
reset?
Well, the thing is like when you press Q on set, you can enhance move speed towards enemies, and then what happened is he actually he pressed Q, but then he immediately pressed W. However, because he was like towards like Malphite, he actually like still had that enhanced move speed while in his W. Jonah Q'd him. He stole the move speed and actually just basically ran completely outside the W because he got so much more move speed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Something to think about, and like you wouldn't normally like think about it like with like Malphite Q, but it does steal move speed, which is very nice for certain like positions that you find yourself in. I am concerned for how the fight will play out. I mean, if Talia and Ziggs like miss then this is like, if they miss like if they miss like their spells, I think that the fight can become extremely difficult for the side of One Thief. But conversely, if
I would say the same about Meta
yeah,
Busters.
if Aatrox or Nocturne, like go in and just
A
die
lot of
immediately.
skill shots with high payoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, against most of these teams, an Ahri Charm, a Talia Flick, those are probably just going to result in a kill. If Pantheon gets the E off right before the Charm, he'll probably survive, but likely be in a position that's really hard to recover from. I think, yeah, my eyes for mid game are going to be on the Talia and the Ahri to kind of make some of these kills happen using their spells. I think whoever gets the first pick before a fight.
Oh, I was mistaken actually. I thought that. Okay, I misread it. That is my bad. It actually is a Nefiri top into Aatrox and a Pantheon jungle. So they aren't doing the Nefiri jungle. Looks like they are just gonna go Nefiri into.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, they're just gonna go Nefiri into Aatrox and Pantheon into Nocturne. Interestingly enough.
My understanding of Nefiri into Aatrox is much less than my understanding of Pantheon into Aatrox. I imagine it's still very volatile. I think the nature of Nefiri is very similar to the nature of Pantheon in top lane. You have kind of a high damage spell that you're very reliant on using to a great effect early on.
The Orbit Deception actually going to miss from the side of Snow. He's actually getting a lot of damage, especially with that Electrocute, that Combat Rune, and Brewer continuing to take this fight, taking a lot of autos, and he does have the Q available, and it's getting really, really risky and really, really dangerous. I'm not sure he's going to try to like just check his reaction speed. It looks like he does check the reaction speed, but a really nice Q from Brewer. Maybe he can actually follow it up. He has Ghost to follow. It looks like that Snow making a critical error. First blood for Brewer.
What a fight. I mean, I think we saw something very similar from Kyle versus LSD Dreams when Kyle was playing Ahri into Syndra, where you get an early lead and you go for a flash play where you check the reaction time of the opponent, and if you succeed you get a kill, but failure ends up being, I think, death while you're not expecting to die if the enemy flashes away from you. Great use of the combat sum from Brewer, leading to a kill despite the trade initially going the way of Snow due to the combat runes. Huge wave built up in the top lane. If Khorne gets dove here, this game is going to be in a really hard position. Looks like Nefiri is going to play it safe, back off. I honestly think I'm going for that dive 10 times out of 10. I think getting that kill there just completely ends top lane. It would have been 4 CS to 16, and you would have had a kill and a plate on top of it as well with a better wave state. So great early pressure coming out from the side of Jonah.
Yeah, really nice pressure already. And forcing Khorne into a not favorable position. I mean, both sides have burn for their pots, but it looks like that Jonah just gonna send out a Khorne. Khorne trying to maintain his wave, but maybe making a mistake. But no, critically the Q2 from the side of Jonah missing, so not able to get that huge chunk of damage off with a heal. Severus just flashing in the middle of the pick, because why not, actually? Severus might be in a bit of trouble here. He's possessed the shield vault, and he has landed on the Future. Future is still level 4, but however, Brewer has arrived with the Unraveled. Earth Seismic Toss doesn't quite connect, and Future getting out with his flash as well, and I think that you're counting yourself lucky. Charm going a bit wide onto Brewer. Foxfire comes out from the side of Snow, and Orbit Deception lands for a little nice damage. However, Brewer is plenty happy because he's plenty far ahead in this lane still.
Yeah, priority in both lanes. You get the early rotations. Great job from the solo laners of One Thief there. However, the end result ends up being quite even. Jungle Flash for Jungle Flash. And it was actually Metabusters that got the Scuttle Crab. Had that Talia flick landed, that would have been a great result for them, though.
Would have been, could have been. And
Freezing the lane into the Ziggs.
yeah.
I think this will be a bit hard to capitalize on without a jungler coming down to do something. Still good to set it up, though.
setup. Both junglers clearing. Future gained a sizable lead in his clear. And it looks like that he was able to pick up both
scuttle crabs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, one of the really important things to note now is that Future will get to his 900 smite a bit earlier than Severus will.
Yeah, that could make a difference in this dragon that's just spawned on the Hex Dragon.
Actually with some nice damage actually, and Jonah might be getting more damage here. But he actually does have On the Hunt ready and available to him. The Ignite comes down and a solo kill for Jonah in this top side. One Thief is patting themselves on the back. Things are just going very, very well so far in this early game.
Yeah, that level 6 timer used well to get the solo kill. I think this lane is going to be extremely hard for Aatrox now. Opting for Caulfields, I think if you're behind, you need to, I mean, even if you're ahead, I think just going early steel caps to reduce this Nefuri's damage.
And Spirit Rush actually comes out from the side of Snow, Orb of Deception. Only nicking here. As that should be the end of that play. I mean, he did look for something, but he doesn't look like find anything. And now it looks like that Future is in the jungle, but both junglers just basing. Staying around for something. Staying around, waiting for the Raptor camp respawn, but it's gonna be a few seconds before that, and Dragon is up. Both junglers should make their way towards it, but Future notably having the Paranoia available, along with the upgraded Smite, so Severus probably gonna try to look for a couple camps here before he even tries to think about taking anything Dragon related.
Yeah, just needs one more here. Clearing away the blue buff. Notably, I think this fight is a bit hard if you're on the side of One Thief. You don't have a combat-oriented ult in the mid lane. Ahri's ult is on cooldown, so now would be the timer to go for it, but looks like they're opting to get some bases in, spin their gold, and then move towards the dragon. What's the timer on that Ahri ult cooldown? I think that'll be something to look for this first dragon.
Yeah, let me just check it. Yeah, it's gonna be 40 seconds before Snow will have Spirit Rush available again. And yeah, I mean, you see like that they are just gonna be targeting Corn up here. He slowly but surely Bean is moving to this fight, and Corn, it's a really nice combo, but Jonah can also do the same. The Chain's not really on anyone, but it looks like that, yeah, Bean's just in the area, so it looks like Corn's just gonna fall down. As Jonah's gonna be picking up another kill. And things might just go from bad to worse in the top lane.
A great bait from Jonah. Getting hit by, intentionally hit by all three of the Aatrox too, I think there to lure Corn in. That's kind of the trade that you're looking for to get back into the game in this matchup, but you end up forking over another kill, and now One Thief has also gotten the Hex Dragon. This is... Oh my gosh, are they getting the grubs as well?
No,
that's
gonna
Metabuster's
Metabuster's getting the grubs.
My bad, I got mixed up. Metabuster's got the got the dragon.
It does feel like
One Thief
is just getting everything in this game. There hasn't been much punishment on the side of Metabuster. I mean that we've seen the first punishment so far, which is them actually able to or actually, excuse me, they actually got the Metabuster's got the Drake, and One Thief got the grubs.
Yes.
So that the punishment is that they end up getting a Drake off the top play. But I don't think that you're too like heartbroken up over one singular Drake in this early game so far.
Definitely not. I think the squishiness and volatility of these teams also makes Drakes less important. I think when you're playing characters that are this squishy and into a team that's this squishy, you just care about snowballing. You care about getting gold leads. And that's what One Thief has been doing. So I do favor their position here. I will say though, I think most of the gold lead is just consolidated in the Nefuri. So a lot of pressure on Jonah to capitalize on this lead.
it looks like that you're actually gonna have Future walking out clock here. I'm not sure he's gonna be looking for anything at all. Actually, well, no, he's actually just trying to like. Okay, it looks like he's just gonna clear like normally.
I believe that pathing is correct because of the home guard change.
Actually, no, it looks like my location here. The Paranoia is available, and it looks like that. However, all sums for the bot lane of One Thief are also available, and looks like that Future will check the things first. Severus actually starting to slowly leave the area, but it looks like that a really nice combo as the Unraveled Earth plus the toss. And actually, Bean going in, as it looks like that Noam could get a bit more damage off here. But notably, the Pantheon has arrived with the Grand Starfall as Severus goes in, but the Paranoia comes out from the side of Future, picking up Noam. Bean's Grand Entrance doesn't really land on anyone. Severus actually burning his Aegis Assault and just getting taken down by Stahl as well, as it looks like that Bean should have to run for the hills here. He does get out with the Grand Entrance to get himself to safety, but critical mistake from the side of One Thief, overplaying their hand and getting punished dearly for it.
You're in a great position, but the wave from Nami from Beam cancels the Pantheon stun. It's always awkward. That's your mobility on that
Spirit
character.
Rush, Charm, a bit wide, Unravel, Threaded Volley, single toss of Threaded Volley, doesn't really connect onto Snow.
Yeah, getting the cancel on the Pantheon is really nice there. I think Nami's ult cast time is to a length where it's not really something that you can react. You kind of have to predict the Pantheon stun. And Bean correctly guesses that Starve is going to... Or not Bean, sorry. Jacob accurately guesses that Starve is going to attempt to W immediately after the ult, gets the cancel, and ends up being a crucial moment in that fight, going their way. Essence Reaver first from Sivir. Getting very close, I believe.
Yeah, it should be. I believe it is going to be with like the quest completion and the lump sum of gold, because you know I think that the bot laners really did need that, so they are going to have it. As appears that they are looking for Corn to walk a bit too far. Corn, however, not feeling too comfortable, and he does get the ward down, but I'm not sure if he quite realizes the danger that he might possibly be in. There is a 2-level difference, and it looks like that he's going to try to farm. He's still waiting, and it looks like, yes, there's the On the Hunt burned, and it looks like that Corn going to be able to get out the flash, and Bean going a bit crazy there with a flash of his own. Is able to like get the quickness charm, but Corn is under the safety of his own turret, so Corn trying to trade back to clear it.
Oh my gosh!
Damage, but yeah, this
the damage there is crazy.
It's so strong, and just like that, this could just be a dive angle. I think that Jonah can look for it, and yeah, it is just a dive. I mean, yeah, it's just really simple. I'm not quite sure what Corn's doing there, not respecting the Nefiri damage along with the Ignite, and able to drop the turret aggro. As it looks like the Future has found Severus, and he's going to try to take him down, and a lot of damage going through, but a TP coming from Jonah to this fight, and it looks like Future is going to be able to pick up Severus, as the Paranoia is going to be able to keep him safe. A really nice bubble that you're just not going to be able to see because of the darkness. However, Bean and Jonah both going in, trying to take down Future. Yes, they do take him down. Snow, too busy pushing a wave, which is probably the correct play, but it looks like that they might be able just to continue to fight this out. Staub trying to get some autos in, and there goes the Spirit Rush. Really nice charm actually onto Bean to pick him up immediately. That should be another reset, as it looks like they might be able to look for more, as Noam looking like he's going to fall down as well. And yes, the Orb of Deception coming through for the side of Snow with a double kill over to him, and it looks like that maybe he might be able to chase. No, it looks like that Jonah should be able to get himself to safety, and 3 kills, but 1 going over to One Thief.
Snow showing up there in that fight is huge for them. Great job getting 2 kills on the back of that. A bit of an overextension from One Thief. And it looks like people's first items are coming in. Nearly everybody has them complete now.
I think that On the Hunt is actually burned, but so is the World Ender as well, as looks like that Corn trying to kite out, doing everything he can. Maybe he can't, but no, the Q3 is going to be dodged out away from Jonah as he calls in the pack, and he's able to simply take down Corn in this matchup again, and man, things just are not really looking up at all for Corn on this top side.
Yeah, I mean, I think after the first kill, this top lane got extremely hard to play. Giving up a lead to a character that's this snowbally is just a recipe for their success.
And it looks like we're gonna have an invasion. As might be looking for something. The bubble doesn't really connect onto Severus, as I believe he was able to steal away that camp though.
Something I've noticed watching MetaBusters is Fuji does a great job getting these kind of shallow invades, putting pressure on the map, and getting a CS lead. In the series last week, on the Mundo, I think 4 Raptor camps or something were taken away.
He was stealing the Raptor camps when he could, and it looks like the charm is going to go a bit wide from the side of Snow, and no, he's not going to be able to continue to follow that up. But he is going to scare away Nom for a time, and this Nom's going to have to channel his base. And the Herald is up, and might be started here. Actually, no, it's not going to be started here quite yet. I'm going to try to get a bit more priority before they do anything. No, there we go. Fuji's hitting it. Fuji is hitting the Herald. And it looks like that fight should be able to break out here. I mean, it's the support force should begin. Snow does have the TP, and it looks like, yes, he's going to opt in the TP as they are getting chased back into their own jungle. And the quickness game popped by the side of Bean, and it looks like they might have gone a bit too early as they're looking down Paula. But Brewer getting great damage, actually able to take down Jacob. And as both Pantheon and Nami are dead, the Bricktail is claimed from the side of MetaBusters. And Jonah maybe a bit far and a bit too unsafe. But Fuchs actually notably falling down as well. Brewer getting that kill, but a really nice charm flash from the side of Snow, and Brewer flashes to get himself safe. Yes, they don't quite have the damage yet. And Stav and Korn trying to do all they can to keep themselves safe, but and oh man, looks like actually maybe a kill actually over to Noah as he takes down Korn, but a really nice flash from Stav to get away from the grand entrance, but the bounty bomb is able to pick him up, and it looks like it's going to be all Snow all alone as he is going on a rampage, but maybe he actually can do something here. I mean, it is a 3v1, but he is on alone as actually yes, the Spear Shot's able, he's able to get a kill there, and there's a kill on the Jonah, a really nice kill. Maybe he can go back in, and maybe he can get a bit more, and he's so close to be able to get a kill, but not quite. How the Foxstar might be available soon to help him catch up, but no, he's just going to have to be happy getting 2 there. And I thought he was actually just going to kill them all there, but no, he's only able to get 2. Still a decent fight from the side of MetaBusters, putting themselves in a slightly better position than they were.
Yeah, Snow deciding to just chase her is pretty ambitious. Ends up paying off big time. Opting for, I'm guessing this is going to be a Shadow Flame second, going their solo AP on the RE. Decides I'm gonna do big damn. I'm gonna one-shot people. Just play around my cooldowns. I'd love to see the gold difference break down here. I imagine it's been closed completely, and I think even Snow's maybe even taken a lead from Gruer at this point.
Yeah, I think that he has at this point. Yeah, it's a 300 gold
Small
lead.
lead. Oh my word, nearly 3,000 lead in the top lane.
Yeah, things do not.
That is not what you want to see.
Not what you want to see at all. And I'm actually shocked that Jonah didn't have a bounty in that fight. And in fact, no one really did. I mean, it's up so much, but I guess that because of like the fact that one thing wasn't really that far ahead at all in gold. And things really.
Yeah, I think the jungle and bot lane situation made the game very even. CS lead in the jungle, and then a tower lead into the Ziggs actually in the bot lane, showing the Sivir pick is great into matching these mages. Doesn't only contest the push.
Actually, they're just going to send it right under Gru. I mean, the Paranoia, the Charm's going to connect as well. And there's like the jungle mid falls that we have the Super Mega Inferno Bomb. Not going to really do that much damage at all. And it looks like that Korn has decided to pop his ultimate for fun here. But there's not much going to happen as, yeah, sure, the Drake is spawning in 30 seconds, but Gru should be up in time for it. And that's actually going to be the critical world ender not available for a short while as Rift Herald has been summoned. And they should be able to get this mid-tier one right here. As Monkey trying to slowly trying to pressure them off as the Korn trying to go for a small knock up there. And actually Charm attacks onto Bean and really nice damage coming out from Snow. As it looks like Fuji's actually going for a bit more, and Severus actually getting caught by the infernal chains, but able to keep himself safe.
73 HP is how much I saw on the Rift Herald there. Barely survives, getting him 3 plates when it crashes.
We're starting to see this nice bounties.
I think they're probably sitting on a lot of money though. I think this is a contestable dragon here.
Oh, the charge barely misses, and they look for a combo there. But notably, you have to remember 3 ultimates down for the side of Metabusters, and you have several ultimates coming up. And it looks like that, yeah, they're just going to send on to Stav, and actually Jonah with so much damage, the charm does connect. But actually, it's just multiple kills with the Fury resets the shutdown as well. And Brewer taking down Korn at the fight, and Fuja trying to get the Dragon Blade. No, he's not going to get it. Severus taking that one away. A 4 for nothing for the side of One Thief.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of pointed out right before, it's very contestable. Sitting on a lot of money, I would expect, on the side of Metabusters. You've just been on the map for a long time. You just forced all of One Thief to base, so they spent all of their money. Ended up being a little low on resources as well. I think some members of Metabusters weren't full HP at the start of that.
Sure. He actually charm actually to pop the stairs on the group. Whoa, the Orb of Deception not quite available yet, I don't think, for that kill that he possibly could have had.
Yeah, this defensive itemization from Brewer's Talia, the Seraphs, and the Rylai's ends up being just enough to walk out of there alive. I'll definitely have to watch this series back. I mean, so many fights back and forth, very close. I'd love to rewatch kind of how these fights are going the way that they are.
They're going a certain way, and
because I expected the previous fight to be a very close one, despite the fact that I did think it was One Thief favored. It ended up being just complete dismantling of Metabusters.
Both sides trying to position for a Baron here, or at least trying to themselves on the side of the map for the Baron. Snow, trying to make sure that there is no Fury looking nearby. Very cautious of taking this wave.
Both teams looking to reach their 3rd item timings on their most fed members. I think it's going to be Ahri getting, I would imagine, a Rabadon's here, all in on the damage.
Yeah,
and then Sivir, I'm not sure what this, maybe a Phantom Dancer? I'm not sure what.
It could be a Flicker Blade as well, if he wants it.
It's true.
And actually, they're actually on the Grand Starfall topside, and so Korn is all alone. They realize that, yeah, looks like that, yeah. Fuja opting not to burn the Paranoid or try to help him, instead just going to try to clear things out. As they might look onto the Baron with this pick, as Korn will be down for around 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a lot of time. But the Baron damage isn't that great from the side of One Thief, so it might not still be lookable.
I also hate to say it, I think
actually burned out. Maybe they might like.
I think the Scuttle ended up being worth more for the side of Metabusters than Aatrox was for One Thief. Getting that vision control, I think, is a good deterrent for the Baron Nashor. So even though they do get Aatrox,
actually, it looks like a charm. Actually, Paranoid's going to get burned as well, and a really nice play onto Guru to actually like, maybe knock him out of the fight immediately, and yes, they do. Jonah still trying to push forward. The tidal wave actually dodged away from him, but Jonah having to flash away because the turret still remains, and Fuja going in alone, not able to get anything. But Severus picking up Stav on the opposite side of the fight, and there's a 2v2 for 2 kills from both sides. It looks like that one more Spirit Rush to go forward. Look for the charm, and actually, yes, he gets it on to Noam. Oh, barely dodged away from the Grand Entrance, but he actually is able to continue to get another reset. And
another charge of the ult.
Yeah, another charge of the ult with the Foxfire. He's actually going to take down Bean as well, and this fight is Metabusters win written all over it.
I mean, so much back and forth here. I think that's an ambitious look. The fight ends up getting so split. I don't know who I'm expecting to win in these anymore. I think it's just such a chaotic draft from both teams.
This completely outsplit.
Nocturne just effectively splitting the fight by diving the back line, forcing, I can't remember, was it the Nefiri and the Pantheon, I believe, to be split off from the rest of the team.
Hoosier did do that. He was able to force like the Ziggs, Rakan, and Talia all to focus on him. He did pay the
Finish
price.
Rabdons, and you were right. It is Flicker Blades. 4 Stavs. Sivir. Horn is hoping to get his second item at some point this game.
Flicker Blades is pretty nice, and
The Fury notably is also on 3 items though.
Jacob.
And if things go right for Nefiri, you can blow up a key target on the side of Metabusters.
Okay, you spot them all out. The Drake is up, and I think you might want to nice. Yeah, it is. Dome just instantly killed. Snow legendary. I mean, there you have it. I mean, things aren't looking that well. Paranoia burned out. Severus trying to get this Drake. He actually is able to secure it in the end. Aegis Assault keeping him alive in the middle of it. Beam diving the back line with the quickness, as it actually really nice disruption to actually prevent any further chase from the side of Metabusters, but they are out for blood, and they are looking for it, as it looks like that one thief actually should be able to keep themselves safe with a really nice disengage from Beam.
Yeah, one thief able to get the dragon and survive there is good. But in the top lane, Corner's able to get a crash in top, farm it up. Hopefully that'll do wonders for getting back into the game on the Aatrox. But losing the dragon is quite bad for Metabusters. You don't want to see the enemy team on soul point despite winning these fights. That last one was a 4v5, as well as the one before that. Both 4v5 fights ending in Metabusters' favor, but they're just not able to get these kind of permanent objectives as a result of these fights.
I mean, yeah, they're not able to quite turn these, winning fights into objectives, which is a bit frustrating.
I think this is when defensive items are coming out. I imagine this Amp Tome is going to Seeker's Arm Guard for Snow's Auri, and this is certainly a GA for Sivir. Recognizing the threat of getting one shot and trying to prevent that from being the game that occurs. Giving themselves a second chance if they overextend, or if the enemy team just commits onto them fully.
Should be interesting to see the commit here. And Snow, shout out to him. I mean, he's been just really, really exceptional already game so far.
Yeah, only death being that unfortunate level 1 fight, which ended the way of Brewer, but outside of that, it's been super clean game. Both of them doing well in CS, while also being very active across the map. Both mid laners have done a great job this game. Which is kind of what I was expecting with the characters trying to get leads elsewhere. Oftentimes you'll see one person doing great and the other one doing not so great, but both these characters are very able to get leads elsewhere, not having to punish their opponent to get ahead. Which is interesting game states where both people in one role are kind of ahead of the pace of the game. And the Seeker's Arm Guard for the Auri.
Seeker's Arm Guard.
Now that you have that completed, it's a great time to look for a fight. Dragons in 2 minutes. If you can get this Baron, segue into the Dragon as well.
Dragon is in 2 minutes, but maybe they can look for the Baron here. I mean, the Sivir is quite strong with a 3-item spike. And yeah, it looks like they are just hitting the Baron right now. So
yeah, you'd love to force out at least the TP from Nefiri. Stop them farming in the bot lane, take it away so that you have an easier time during the Dragon fight. TP will be used.
Surely,
Busters is
backing
backing out. Looks like they got what they wanted.
Get the TP, and now like they can just probably start pushing their top wave while they'd be looking for this Drake in a minute. Or they can just position for a fight. I mean, that works as well. Sometimes you just gotta fight your way out of things. And yeah, there's the On the Hunt. There's the Paranoia. It's go time. Charm Flash actually does end up connecting as he flashes away. And if Bean actually getting picked as a result of that, I don't think that's what we wanted. Well, then he gets popped out. I mean, it's just a complete wipe for the side of Metabusters. not much that one team can do at all. They just completely sweep them from the Rift. A 5-0 ace. There you have it. Should just be the Meta Busters win. I mean, yeah, why not fight when you're just stronger than any enemy team? And that's just going to be the end of the game.
Really great execution from Meta Busters there. The Nocturne ult, I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the game, the R1 really valuable this game, the R2 not so much. Basically using the full duration of the R1 before activating the R2 after Snow gets the initiation that you want to get on the R8. Nocturne ult kind of facilitating that engage, and you can be secondary engage on Nocturne after getting a safe start to a fight on the R8, and that's the series. Meta Busters 3-2 now in this season.
Yeah, 3-2 in this season, and yeah, just a really impressive showing from Meta Busters. I mean, that's the 2-0 victory that you want. Trying to like get yourself like just prepped for getting that playoff spot that everyone really wants to try to get.
You know, I just realized that we once again forgot to do our predictions before the game started.
Oh, we did forget to do the predictions.
We gotta write a note for tomorrow. We gotta remember to do that.
We will remember for tomorrow. And also, I will also try to be a bit more awake than I was for tomorrow. And that is not a result of the teams playing, but a result of me not getting enough sleep the night before. So I will try to do what I can, be a bit more awake. Sandy will be there as well. I mean, being around Sandy always wakes me up. Anyway.
You're so sweet.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. And I think we should try to get...
Who are we thinking for Game 2 MVP? I'm thinking it has to be Snow.
Yeah, I think it is Snow. I think the Ari was...
Unfortunate level 1, but definitely locked in after that. Dialed it in. Played a super clean game.
Yeah, I mean, is there any interview you'd like to do for any one of them?
I mean, let's get. I don't think Snow's been in for an interview yet.
Yeah, let's get Snow in here. Snow, if you are out there, please make your way to one of the Scrim Zone lobbies so we can have a small chat with you. Oh, there! I mean, he just came in. There he is. He's here. He's here. He's just in here. There he is.
Hi, it's me. Yeah.
Hello.
How are you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing good. I'm in a good mood.
That's good to hear. It was really great watching that game. A bit of a interesting level 1 fight on the Ahri.
Yeah. Well, that was the ego skill check. Like,
yeah.
I want to see if he could flash it the Q in time. I missed like 2 Qs. I was still winning the level 1 fight, but I got greedy.
That's the power of the rune page.
Yeah, exactly.
Really great game played. Really great series overall. I think this is Meta Busters' second 2-0 victory, I believe.
I believe so, yeah. That sounds correct to me.
I think
It's our second or third.
QC was a 2-0, and then last week me and Alec were casting the game against Project Tuesdays, which was very, very close, 2-1. That series was
then that's our second.
An absolute highlight.
Yeah, the thing is, like, even the ones we lost, like, they're kind of bangers. And, like, I think the first 2 losses are, like, 2-1 as well. So, like, we've had a lot of really, like, contested
very close
series,
games,
I think. Yeah.
Y'all have been looking great this season. Notably, this is your first win this season with Meta Busters. The previous 2 series you weren't a part of. How are you feeling coming back into the fold?
Washed. I mean, it's just like I've not been playing the game very much. To be just a tiny bit, just a little bit personal. I was going through some stuff this past month, but I finally resolved it this weekend. So maybe you'll see me more. I don't know. Like, who knows? I'm always here to like sub for them, you know, and I don't want to take away anything from them. Like, they have been just owning it up while I took a step back. And like even the game today, especially at game 2, you know, like Fujer, for example, like his Nocturne ults made it so I could play some of those fights like really crazy. And so like I want to like just point that out because I think like everybody really stepped it up when I took a step back, and it's been like really awesome to watch them because of that.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Alec, you got any questions?
Uh, yeah, I just have like I guess like my one question would be how did you feel I guess just like playing that initial Victor game, you're like just getting back into the swing of things, just playing like the Victor. I mean, you like many times. I mean, there was just a Darius just running at you at Mach 10 alongside a couple of other entourage members. I mean later
Yeah,
on,
that
however,
one.
later on you did like like tie it down. You were able to like
Yeah.
start producing the damage and dying a bit less.
Mm, mm.
What was kind of like your just I guess what were your thoughts like just in like around like that early to mid game in game one?
I was feeling good. Like the thing was, like I played really disrespectful that game because I really like I mean you see in the game too as well that L1, right? Like I really enjoy skill checking my opponents and just seeing like kind of how they react, both individually and like as a team. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why I picked Ari that second game is because I was like, okay, like I can pressure lane a bit and they'll like try to help him out. So I picked something really safe where it's a lot harder to punish. And then like you kind of saw they could only really play like in the side lanes because that was like their gankable lanes. So it's stuff like that that can be really useful in series in particular. In best of ones, I probably would have played it differently, but in series like that, you can kind of afford to do that sort of thing. And like it's like a puzzle almost, which I really like. So yeah.
Yeah, it can be like a puzzle sometimes, and we know like you have spoken on like the accolades of your teammates so far, like wow, like you took your leave of absence. However, do you have anything else like specifically say about any like your teammates? I mean, if you really think about it, like Stav, like had a very exceptional game
Mm,
one.
mm,
Uh, Fujer also played a very good Maokai game.
mm.
Is there like anything else that like you like to say on your teammates' performance so far, in like
Yeah,
just so far in the season,
of
like not even
course.
not even like exclusive to the series?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's always stuff I can say. I mean, like Corn's had a lot of really good games, and like even though like especially a second game it looked rough for him, the thing was he's taking pressure for the rest of us. And I mean, one of the reasons I like playing with Corn is like he has really good mental, and so like bad stuff's happening to him, but it's okay because like we can kind of like prop him up a little bit, and like he showed up when he needed to, and like Fujira says, playing really well. I mean, Stav is he's more consistent than I am at this point, I think. I'm too rusty uh, to be consistent. So I was really relying on him to kind of be like, my fellow carry, and I think he showed that today, especially that first game. Like when I would call targets in fights, he'd like instantly like be on it, and like he would call for like help when he's getting dove and stuff like that, which I don't hear many AD carries do, even at ones that are like higher rank than him. And then Jacob, he's like similar to Corn, like he has really good mental, and also like he had a lot of good fights on those Nami waves. I think I saw in the chat someone was calling him out. Like he had really good Nami ults that game that really disrupted the fights and made it easy for me to play as well. So, and like I also want to shout out Thomas Tusini, who didn't get to play this week, which is why I was in. I saw some of the games last week. We were saying in comms, I guess we just have two cracked Ari players in our team now. So he looked really crazy on that. And of course, I also want to shout out Hidiri. He's been around. I don't know if he's played any series yet, but he's been around. He's been very supportive of the team. He's willing to like step up with scrims, step up with drafts. So I want to, mention him as well.
Yeah, it's always the behind the scenes stuff that always does matter. I have no questions for you. I think Sandy is
I
questioned out
have
as well.
one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I see if the shout out. You now in Metabusters, your team is 3-2. You've already
Mm-hmm.
played against a lot of the heavy hitters, some of the top dogs. You have
Mm-hmm.
a series against Alberts Inferno's 3-1,
Mm-hmm.
SKT who's 2-3, and the Nutbusters who are currently 1-4.
Mm-hmm.
How are you preparing for these games? How worried are you about them? What's kind of the the team's mood about these upcoming series. Which is there one that you're particularly worried about? Because if you're able to pick up one more win, I think you're in a pretty good position to make playoffs.
I think of the series, I'm actually most interested in the SKT one. I think they've looked like a lot better since they picked up some of their new players. I think especially like their solos are really strong. So I'd be really curious to see how we do against them and like how they perform as well. In terms of preparation, I mean, we just do week to week stuff. I don't think we do anything like super special. Our drafting AI tool was a little bit helpful with some of our picks. So I guess we do that a little bit differently. But that's really it. I don't think we do anything too, at least to me, like as someone who's been in a lot of different team environments, it's nothing special. We just show up, we play, we give our all, and I think we leave it all on the rift.
You definitely did today, and it was more
Yes,
than
sir.
enough. 2-0 victory. Had a great time watching you and the
Yeah,
rest of
thank you, thank you.
Metabusters today.
Yep, I had a great
Yeah,
time watching and casting that as well. It was a lot of fun to cast. Well, with that being said, that is going to be it for the night. There you have it. Metabusters with a 2-0 victory over One Thief. A very nice 2-0 victory, hard fought. Please make sure to tune in for tomorrow, where we are going to be watching. I'm sorry, the
SKT versus Nutbusters.
SKT versus Nutbusters. There you have it.
Ooh,
SKT
that's
versus
gonna be
Nutbusters.
hype.
It should be a very fun series to watch. We
But
can
hold
start
on, drop your predictions now, so you don't forget
True.
later.
You know what?
True.
Yeah, let's just drop. Okay, drop it now. I'm gonna say. I would say I'll give it a. I'll say a 2. You know what? I think the Nutbusters are gonna fight back. I don't think it's gonna be enough. I'm gonna say a 2-1 victory for SKT over the Nutbusters.
Okay.
I'm thinking. Actually, Patrick, you give your guess. What do you think the series will look like?
I'm hoping for 3 games. I think it's 2-1 SKT. I've been an SKT believer since last season. I think they had small glimmers here and there, and I think this season with the upgrades they've gotten, like I think they can like be a legit like contender for playoffs and stuff. So that 2-1 for them.
Well, I want to be a little bit different, but I do think that it will be a 2-1 for SKT. I think SKT has stepped up their game a lot. I think they've looked really good. I think the Nutbusters are going to be able to put up a good fight. I can see it going their way. But I think Tugs and Ray, the new pickups, have been showing themselves up in these games, doing very well. I think it's just going to be so exciting. I can't wait to cast it tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for that.
Yeah, it should be exciting to see. And so that's gonna be it for the night. Make sure everyone to keep themselves safe. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.